He's Dave Oldenburg, brewer of beer here at Titletown. I'm Dan Higgins, writer of beer reports, stories for USA Today Network in Wisconsin. This is WisBrewView Live, and we are in the tap room of Titletown Brewing here in downtown Green Bay. Since we are live and we are on Facebook, if you take the time, tap on the video there, screen will come up. You can type in questions, comments. We'll try and keep an eye on them, maybe even respond to them depending on what we get there. But Titletown, you guys have got, in essence, like 3 different places people can come enjoy beer. You got the rooftop. You have the original depot, which is where the restaurant is. If people are looking for food to eat, mostly that's where you're gonna go, except for the ramen special on, on the rooftop. But the tap room is the place where you probably have the largest selection at any given time on tap. And also what you have is the Cask Condition, which is kind of a unique thing. Those Cask Condition beers are the cask pour, right? Yeah. This is the only, we have well, 2 beer engines, although one is presently out for repairs. But they're all in here. This is the only room where we serve the cask ale, and we like to have a little fun with that with our, you know, I tell the guys whatever kind of weird casks they want to make, go ahead. Okay. So the other day we had like a really spicy Pilsner, and I don't know, it gives them a little creativity to do some neat things, and yeah, that traditional pour is a lot of fun too. The slightly you know, different flavor you get with the cask ale being unfiltered and everything. Yeah. So well, we had people kind of coming through. They all even must have heard you talking about cask beer. So that's kind of the difference. Then is it's not it's a little bit different drinking experience, a little bit, and it allows you to have some fun and creativity. So if you're looking for like something really unusual, this is a spot to be in. This is a spot to show up and really kind of try some of the more some of the fun you guys are having brewing beer. Well, and then this is also where we have the most beer faucets, so we tend to put a couple things in here that aren't maybe anywhere else. Right now we have our Berliner Weiss in here, which is kind of a weird beer also. So, yeah, that's kind of for something adventurous. This is the room to be in. And that's kind of a tart beer. Is that a low ABV too for you guys? Well, yeah, it's about 3%. Right. It's refreshingly tart. I wouldn't call it sour, but it's definitely tart. Right. I mean, that harkens back to some German. I mean, that's a very German type style beer. Yeah, it's one of these surviving sour beers. It used to be that, you know, it was hard to make beer that wasn't sour because nobody understood microbiology very well. And now, you know, we understand it, and sometimes we just do it on purpose now. So have some fun with it. One of those examples. And it works out for summer. It's refreshing, a long day, low ABV. That's a good combination. Oh, it's the ultimate lawnmower beer. Yeah. You're working in the yard or something, and it's just wonderful. But in summer, you don't have to shy away from dark beers. Not all dark beers are porters and stouts. I happen to drink them all year round, but I understand a lot of people are like, it's a heavy beer. It's very good. It's just not necessarily the thing you think of when it's warm weather. But there's a variety of dark beers. They come in different shades. You got brown ales. You have Munich, Dunkels. That's what I was looking for. And also Dark Helmet, which is actually a Schwarz beer, which is German for black lager. So what is it? You pour this, you're going to see it's dark, but it's going to drink pretty light. Why is that? Well, I mean, as far as the lightness or heaviness of a beer, it's not really directly related to color. I mean, yeah, there's some like imperial stouts are heavy and dark, but there's not really a reason that anything that the color has to indicate a heavy body or lack of drinkability or even alcoholic strength. Right. So, you know, dark beers are just produced by using more dark malts in relation to the pale malts. That's what makes it dark in the first place. And so with a Schwarz beer, the idea is to have a dark beer that has some nice coffee flavor, some lightly roasted flavor, but not have it be something that's overly bitter. Like, you know, you don't want it to be like chewing on a coffee bean, and you don't want it to have that full body that people tend to associate with some of the stouts that are out there, or like the wee heavy Scottish beers or anything like that. This is no heavier in body than our other mainstream year-round beers. So the idea with a Schwarz beer, it's tricky because it's a lager and it's black. And so you're trying to get this smooth, flavorful, smooth lager character and this dark malt kind of flavor, roasty like coffee, but you want it to be ultimately smooth and drinkable at the same time. And that's the challenge with producing a Schwarz beer. But we use it, one of the reasons we started producing it in the first place, and this is going back quite a ways, is that we wanted a dark beer that people could drink who like that flavor, that coffee kind of thing. Yeah. But you could kind of drink it all year, and I know you're one of the year-round stout drinkers, but there aren't that many of you.
Right. Yeah,
so
I'm the minority.
and I am not one. I won't touch a stout at this time of year.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe for QC purposes, but that's it. But yeah, so this is something for the people who like that flavor, but you can kind of drink it any time of the year.
Right. I was even thinking, that's great. With some s'mores around the campfire, I'm like,
yeah,
bingo.
Yeah, it'd be great like that.
Honestly, that's fantastic. But so that's a lager. We talked about that a little bit. You've been head brewer here since 2006.
Right.
And you guys actually bottle and year-round have 2 lagers, and that was and the other one is the Boathouse Pilsner. Mm-hmm. So between the two, which one is if you had to pick one or the other lager, if you were going to stick with one, which one would you?
Oh man, me personally, it'd be the Pilsner.
Pilsner?
It's got a soft spot. I don't know. I really like them both. Bohemian Pilsner is my personal favorite style.
Okay.
So I'd have a hard time seeing that one let go. It's also the only time we've gotten a gold medal at any of the major beer competitions. Yep. is with Boathouse Pilsner. Yep. At the Great American Beer Festival. It's our only gold in any big competition. So I like to keep that one around.
Well,
I like them both.
Well, the nice thing is you don't have to choose because you have this new brewing facility.
Yeah.
Because before you were like. Literally, your entire brewing operation was pretty much, if you've been into the depot, basically that space behind that bar on the first floor down to the end and maybe wrap a little bit, and that was it. I mean, you guys were really, it was amazing how much beer you were turning out of such a tiny space.
Yeah, we were, when I started, we had 4 fermentation tanks in there. There was a little bit of extra space, and I went and I measured out down to the ½ inch or so tolerance of how can we shift our equipment around to fit more in it. And so we got it absolutely filled up now. There's no room between anything, and we used that to absolutely max out that space. And we topped out at just under 2,000 barrels, and it still wasn't enough to keep up with demand. We'd run short on beer every summer. Yeah. So
and that was just kegging. You weren't bottling and distributing at that point
either.
I mean, that was just what's being in there, and then kegs that you were distributing.
There was a little bit of distribution, but it was almost all over the bar. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a little bit, and so if people wanted more beer, we just had to build another brewery.
So that prompted this, and you went from there you could do 2,000. You kind of topped out 2,000 here. What are you doing now with this up and operational?
Right now we're at about 6,000. We can get up to about 12,000 without adding more equipment. We can get up to about 20,000 without adding more building space.
Okay.
So there's a lot of room to grow. Yeah.
And that's what allows you then to not have to choose, because lagers take a little bit longer to ferment.
Yeah.
So that allows you then to have 2 lagers out there on market year round. But of course, I mean, as much as I like lagers, like dark beers, craft beer industry is an IPA one. Mm-hmm. You've got that too with the Green 19. Yep. And you've got, and just wrapping up now, there's a little bit of, if you missed it, it was a Belgian Style IPA. Do you have a preference, Belgian or American style on the IPAs?
I've kind of become I like them both, I guess. Yeah. It depends on the mood I'm in, but yeah. I like them both. I like both of these beers. The Green 19 we have all year. The Loose Caboose is actually our second ever bottled seasonal.
Okay.
That was our spring seasonal here, and should be just about wrapping it up. We've got a couple of cases left at the brewery, and other than that, we're out. I think most of the distributor warehouses are empty as well. So just wrapping up. If you can, you might still be able to find it out there, but you got to look.
Yeah. And so what's the? I mean, I think the IPA, the big thing with IPAs is you can do a lot of different things. Like a Pilsner is kind of a Pilsner, yep. and a lot of these other beers are kind of these beers. It's one of those styles that allows you to have a Belgian style, have a New England style, a West Coast style. So what between the two, if someone was going to try them side by side, what would you say is the different? Where are they going to know it's different?
Well, when you try a Belgian style IPA, you're basically taking an American style IPA and adding, you're fermenting it with a Belgian yeast. And those Belgian yeasts, as a general rule, they kick out a bunch of fruity flavors and some spicy flavors as well that an American ale yeast would not kick out.
Okay.
American ale yeast ferment real cleanly, and they just let the hops shine through. Whereas the Belgian yeast add another dimension, so it's like combining a monastic Belgian triple with an American IPA maybe.
Okay.
We took it one step further with ours in particular. We also took and supplemented with Belgian candy syrup.
Okay.
Which is not typically done in an IPA.
Okay.
But we thought it'd give it one more dimension. And what you get is you get some color, and you get some nice like lightly caramelized flavor, but it actually makes it drier, not sweeter.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Right, because you put in a syrup, but the yeast ferments all the sugar out of the syrup and just leaves behind the residual, a little bit of flavor. So.
And did you know that going in that this is going to dry? This is going to give us dry, or was that one of those you put it in there and you were like, oh wow, that's kind of a you knew that this is.
Yeah,
this is
no,
what
we knew.
This is what is going to happen.
It's not actually a new recipe. We've done it as a one-off at the old depot a couple of times before.
Okay.
But when we bottled it, it was not a new recipe. It was just. Just scaled it up a little bit.
All right. So we've talked a little bit about the Great American Beer Festival, winning some awards there. So you were in 1 year because you won the Boathouse Pilsner, got a gold. Your SSA, which is a smoked porter, that's kind of a seasonal rotation beer, or is that one that? Or is that right, or what is the SSA again?
Well, it's actually SSA stands for Smoked Sticka Alt Beer.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the Sticka means I think the literal translation is secret. I don't speak German, but it's something that is associated with these alt beer breweries in Dusseldorf. Once in a while, once a year or something, they would make one that was a little stronger.
Okay.
And that was the secret one, so the Sticka.
Okay.
So we took it and then we took that idea and smoked it. The first batch we ever brewed was intended as a one-off. However, it did win a medal at Great American Beer Festival, so then we had to bring it back. So now it's back, and it's actually that batch is nearly sold out. So
right, I was going to say that's pretty much.
It's pretty close to out. Yeah.
Done,
yeah,
done
and then
too,
that's one of those beers we like to have it. So it falls under the weird beer category, I suppose. I mean, smoked beers they're not. I wouldn't say they're rare, but.
Yeah, they're not
hardly mainstream.
Right. And that's a beer too. That's usually a one, and have one, and you're like, well, that's good. It's not a have one, have another, have another.
Yeah,
to me, I mean, even the best of them are. I feel like, oh, it was good to have it, but I'm going to move on to.
Yeah, it would have to be a really,
else.
really good smoked beer for me to drink a second pint.
Yeah, absolutely.
First one's great though.
So, having won that at the brew pub. Oh, do we have a question? Oh my goodness! All right.
Cool.
Live from.
Yeah, we have. One question. Jeremy Schneider wants to know, where is the Schwarz beer available in the Wausau area? And he wants to know also, ever think about doing a Dunkelweizen or a Doppelbock?
All right, so the Schwarz beer, are you guys in the central part of the state?
We are in the central part of the state. I don't have a list right in front of me of exactly where you're going to find that right now.
We'll look that up, and maybe we can reply on the comment section after this to make sure where you're at, and then but yeah, you have the Dunkels, and what was it, a Dunkel?
What? Dunkelweizen and a Doppelbock, right?
Yeah.
Dunkelweizen, we have done those once or twice, but not once. We've done those on occasion.
Yeah.
It's been a little while. I'm actually a huge fan of Dunkelweizens. So maybe we'll do another one. I don't have it on the schedule anytime real soon, but we'll definitely be doing another one. As far as Doppelbock, I actually do have that one on the schedule. We're going to do a Doppelbock called Prognosticator. And it's going to be tapped on Groundhog Day in February.
Okay.
So we're gonna actually brew that this fall and then let it lager for a long time.
Okay.
And so it's been a while since we've done a Doppelbock. We have done them, but it's been entirely too long because it's another style I'm a huge fan of. So.
You like the good German. I mean, I do too. I mean, I'm not. That's great.
I do appreciate a lot of the German styles.
Yeah, me too. Well, you got Hefeweizen on right now too, which is the Delsman Street wheat. That's kind of a Hefeweizen, which is very German. So we were talking a little bit about winning the Brew Pub of the Year award at the Great American Beer Festival. Then that kind of led to, or maybe it didn't, but back-to-back years. Now that one at the Great American Beer Festival, that's a judging. The judges are looking for a beer style, specific criteria.
Right.
So when you win a medal there, it means you're brewing a beer that is really spot on with what it's designed to be.
Right.
the brew pub of the year thing, and it's a fan voting thing, so it's kind of two different awards, but
Right.
but I suppose they're both satisfying in different ways.
Well, the first one, the brewery of the year at Great American Beer Festival, yeah, that's based on just plain old quality of the beers you entered. It's quite objective. The judges don't know whose beers they are when they're judged,
right.
and there's a numeric system for deciding who gets that award. So there's there's not a, whereas the other one, the USA Today Best Brew Pub in the Nation Award, that's completely the opposite. Everybody knows who they're voting for, and it's all about turning out the vote.
Right, getting
online.
that kind of support, but that's got to feel good.
Getting everybody to vote every day or however often they're allowed to. And,
you have those kinds of fans and beer fans here that they're going to take time.
Yeah, entirely different, different ways to win. Yeah.
Okay, so here at the tap room, you can actually play cornhole, and when it's not broken, you got Hammerschlagen. Again, going very German, but right now someone got a little zealous with the hammer.
Somebody got a little excited playing it. Yeah.
You're thinking about, do you ever play one or the other? Or do you have a preference for one game?
I kind of like both of them. Yeah. I find Hammerschlagen to be entirely frustrating, but I enjoy playing it anyway. I like the challenge, but
because you got to hit
a
nail with the wedge end of a hammer.
Right. So you have to hit it exactly right. It's way easier to miss or to do something wrong or bend your nail or whatever. But it's still fun, and you're just hanging. Whatever. If you don't do well, just get another beer and move on. Cornhole is a little more satisfying. those are good things. It makes a really nice smacking sound in this room too.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
try it.
You're going to show. All right. Let's see what kind of. We're going to test the acoustics on some. This was not planned at all. I'm like, look at these just showed up.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, who knows? All right. So I'm going to let you go first. Since I've actually never.
You've never done this.
I've never done this.
Okay. So 3 points in.
Okay.
1 point on.
All right. Sounds good.
No. Oh, no good sound.
All right. See if we can get some noise here.
That's better.
All right, they're a little bit better.
Yeah. That's the sound I was looking for.
So this is a backyard game.
Yeah.
This is one of those, you're probably doing some brats with your beer and everything. Are you a parboil or are you a beer bath kind of guy with your bratwurst?
I am a parboil in beer.
All right.
There
you go. All right.
All right, this one's going in.
All right, I got one last shot here. So
what's beginner's luck or what?
I don't know. That must be
losing here. So.
that or we're not at the official length. Maybe we didn't measure.
Yeah, we didn't measure it.
Just kind of guessed at where we're at. So if you're parboiling, what are you using to parboil your brats?
Oh, whatever I've got around. I found Johnny Blood does a pretty good job.
So. Christina, when we talked to her a while back, and she was beer bath, but she had said Johnny Blood too.
Yeah,
so I found that interesting. That red beers.
I think that the caramel character in it kind of goes well with the brats.
Yeah, you get that sweet with the spicy.
Then that's always a good
combination, right?
Yeah, I throw some onions in there and some butter.
Okay.
And then grill the brats, and then throw them back in the in the bath, and then they're nice and warm. And
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So I do it.
All right. What's the question? I mean, we had allowed people to kind of ask some questions, but do you have a if people find out they don't know that you're the brewer here and you say, I brew beer, I mean, what's the question you get the most from people that once they find out what you do for a living?
Oh, how do you get into that?
Yeah.
How do you get into that?
All right. It's a lot of frustration brewing at home first, right? Or get a job.
Yeah,
at a brewery
most guys start out at home. Once in a while you find somebody that didn't, but
and I think too it's like there's a lot more, I'm guessing, to this that you really have to enjoy to become a brewer, to get into this, that people probably don't think of going from home brewing even to professional brewing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's dirty and it's,
there's a lot of scrubbing and cleaning.
And you can get hurt. Luckily, that doesn't happen too often to us, but it has.
Right.
It's all cleaning, which you'll find out if you do it at home as well.
Right. And if you're doing this, how do you get into it? If you're not doing it at home, you're brewing beers that other people like. That's the most important. I mean, as much as you might like them, but there's probably beers that you really like that I need to, there's a reason Johnny Blood's year round. There's a reason Green 19's year round. Not that they're bad, but I'm just saying you need to be able to be willing to brew the beers that other people want.
Yeah, if you're doing it just at home for yourself, you're only going to please one person.
Right.
And then, when we're statewide distribution, we have to please thousands of people. So.
And during Craft Beer Week too, I thought you made a really good point. There was a nice panel here talking about beer, and you talked about if someone comes in here and doesn't find a beer that they don't like, probably doing something wrong. Yeah. Because.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time. It's when as far as a brew pub, this doesn't so much reference the externally distributed beer, but when you come in, the idea is to have a lot of variety, so you can please everybody, but not by making a beer that everybody likes, just by making enough variety that you're going to like something.
Right.
The other way to accomplish that same thing is to keep all your beers inoffensive.
Right.
But we think the big brewers have got that covered pretty well, so we do it the other way.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, absolutely right. Well, and that's what in my thinking is it's a part of what allowed craft beer to kind of flourish is that they did get all the same. There's nothing wrong with an American lager as a fine beer.
Yeah.
But it's not the only beer.
Right. Yeah. I don't have any problem with American lagers, but other than when people think that that's the only kind of thing you can have when it's it's the only kind of beer there is. Yeah.
And all the food and stuff. Yeah. Another thing. So you have a beer boiler in the basement, and you got ramen on the rooftop. Which way are you going?
Whichever kind of mood you're in. We like to keep it so that each part of our campus, we have a pretty big place here, 2 buildings, multiple bars, 6 bars last I counted. We wanted to keep every space a little bit different. So up on the roof, you can get ramen, and that's the only. And I have not had it yet, but I've heard that it's just fantastic. Okay. You can get ramen on the roof. There's also Taco Tuesday on the roof.
Okay.
And then down in the tap room, we got pizzas, we got pasties.
Sure.
We got a bigger space. You can play cornhole.
Right.
You can go down in the basement, and then that's on the tour. You get to stop at the beer boiler. You can probably guess what a beer boiler is.
Yep. I mean that's basically you had a bubbler down there, and you figure out how to run a tap line into this. Yeah. Turn it on, and there's beer.
Right.
Most of the time, Johnny Blood Red,
right.
Which is, one of the best reds for my money out there. It's one of my favorites. Yeah. But take a sip right from it. And you guys are even thinking about, or someone here is looking at, can we make a portable version of this for when you're out and about, right?
It's a project. It's an ongoing project. We want to try to do that.
It might be coming to a beer fest near you or something.
It's a lot of fun. Everybody remembers it. It's something. It's something unique,
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, if you do the tours here, and what's cool too about the tours is you guys actually have. You've hired some guys who are comedy kind of local guys that do the tours, so it's very entertaining. Yep. It really is kind of neat, and get down and get to see the production down there where all the bottling and all that goes on, and walk through here all the way up.
Yeah, you go through everything on the tour, and there's samples. And,
all right. So what else is Delsman Wheat right now? You talked about the Doppelbock. Ben Tuba's coming back, please tell me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. That's the Oktoberfest beer. That's a must grab in my book. Every year that comes out. Anything between now and then seasonal, or is that going to kind of carry and then into the winter, or what's kind of your schedule look like?
Well, we've got a bunch of depot kind of one-offs coming up. We actually have a beer that we're doing what's called a Kentucky Common.
Kentucky Common.
And that is one of these historic styles that somebody did a little research on and dug it up and resurrected it. Mostly homebrewers do it.
Right.
But then the pubs pick it up. So we're gonna do a beer in that style pretty soon.
All right.
And oddly it's going to be our third bird themed beer.
Okay.
This one is going to be named after the chimney swift.
Okay. You've had, is that the birds, because you had birds flying around in here when it was remodeled, right?
Right. Well, we had the owl get stuck in the smokestack and get rescued, so we did a beer for him, and then we did another one for the piping plover, because there was a piping plover nest on the bay, and that was a big deal. And now we're doing this chimney swift one because the chimney swifts, we've capped our smokestack now to keep the owls out. However, now the caps are it's sized such that the chimney swifts can still get in. So anyway, we have this bird theme going, which is kind of unique, I think. So we've got that one coming out. We have We have an Imperial IPA coming out just over the bar. That the name is actually undecided. But, and then this fall we have again, the name is still not 100% determined, so I don't want to say it. But it's a wild rice brown ale, and that will be bottled. That will be bottled and spread around the state. So
that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Something different. I haven't seen that before. So that's
always good. Right. Yeah. It's
and that's the crime of the craft beer drinkers. It gets to the point of like yeah, it's nice, but what are you doing? Weird.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta keep. But actually, that's all right with me because otherwise, I get a little bored. Otherwise, got to be doing something new, coming up with some kind of new process or new recipe or something. So we managed to bang out 20, 30 recipes a year. So
so there's always
it keeps it interesting. If if you're not here for about 2 weeks, you probably miss something. So
well, there you go. So there's the reason to stop in, despite it's a great place to sit. You open up those doors when it's nice enough out there. You got these big garage type doors that open up, which is kind of a
glorious
cool scene.
When you open that up.
And that rooftop. I mean, it is that's wonderful to sit up there and have a beer up there.
Yeah, that's become really popular.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Well, thanks for your time. I know you're super busy. Appreciate you talking to us today. Hey, thanks everybody out there for checking us out. We'll be back in August with another WisBrewView Live.